Ever wondered what the dumbest animals in the world are? Well, prepare to be intrigued because we are about to journey into the fascinating world of animal intellect, or lack thereof. So, buckle up and stay tuned as we count down the top 10. Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is the adorable but not so bright panda. These black and white cuties from China are a symbol of peace and tranquility, but their intellectual prowess leaves much to be desired. Let's start with their diet. Pandas are classified as carnivores, but they've chosen a life of munching on bamboo, which makes up about 99% of their diet. Oddly enough, their bodies aren't exactly designed to digest plants efficiently. They have to consume up to 40 pounds of bamboo each day just to meet their energy needs. Talk about being stuck in a dietary rut. Now, let's talk about their mating habits. Pandas are notoriously bad at reproducing. Female pandas are fertile only a few days each year, and males often appear clueless about mating. It's no wonder these creatures are on the brink of extinction. Then there's their lack of survival instincts. Pandas are known to fall out of trees regularly. It seems their love for climbing doesn't come with a good sense of balance. And their reaction to threats. They prefer to sit and hug their heads, making them easy targets for predators. Despite their lack of intellect, we still love these cuddly creatures. Their innocence and awkwardness have a unique charm that continues to captivate hearts around the world. After all, who can resist those big, round, innocent eyes and that fluffy fur coat? At number 9, we have the turkey, famous for its holiday presents but not its intelligence. Gobble gobble, folks, let's talk turkey. Now, these birds are not known for their smarts. In fact, they're infamous for their lack of intelligence. One of the most well-known and frankly baffling behaviors of turkeys is their tendency to look up and open their mouths during rainfall. Yes, you heard it right. This can actually lead to them drowning if they are not careful. While it's a hilarious image, it's a stark reminder of their lack of survival instincts. Now you might think, well, they can fly away from danger, right? Well, not so fast. Turkeys are not the most skilled flyers. Their heavy bodies and relatively small wings make for a clumsy combination. They can fly, but not very far, and certainly not very gracefully. Speaking of survival instincts, or rather the lack thereof, turkeys often exhibit poor judgment when it comes to predators. Unlike other birds that can sense danger and react swiftly, turkeys often freeze or continue their activities, making them easy prey. So the next time you sit down for a Thanksgiving meal and see that roasted bird on the table, remember, its place on the menu might have as much to do with its lack of intelligence as it does with tradition. Next time you see a turkey, you might just appreciate its stupidity. Coming in at number 8 is the slow and not so savvy sloth. Known for their incredibly slow speed, sloths are a true embodiment of the saying, "Slow and steady wins the race." But in the case of the sloth, it's more like slow and steady survives the day. Their top speed, a whopping 2 feet per minute. That's right, you could literally outwalk a sloth without breaking a sweat. However, their lack speed isn't their only shortcoming. Sloths are also known for their poor decision-making skills. They've been known to mistake their own arms for tree branches, leading to some unfortunate falls. It's hard to imagine how they've managed to survive this long with such a hazardous habit. And let's talk about energy levels. Creatures are the epitome of laziness. They sleep an average of 15 hours a day, leaving a mere 9 hours for activities like eating, moving, and, well, more sleeping. But hey, who are we to judge? Maybe they're onto something with this laid-back lifestyle. Despite their lackadaisical demeanor, sloths have an ability to survive in the wild. Their slow movements and greenish fur blend perfectly with the trees, making them hard to spot for predators. They're so slow, in fact, a race against a snail could be a photo finish, and their diet of leaves provides enough nutrition to keep them going, even if it is at a snail's pace. Despite their slow pace, these creatures continue to survive in the wild. At number 7, we have the flightless parrot, the kakapo. Now you might be wondering, a parrot that can't fly, isn't that a bit of an oxymoron? Well, in the case of the kakapo, it's a reality. This chubby, adorable bird, native to New Zealand, is the world's only flightless parrot. Its wings are more decorative than functional, and it prefers to waddle around on the ground rather than taking to the skies. But its inability to fly isn't the only thing that makes the kakapo, well, a bit of a bird-brained creature. Its mating habits are also quite peculiar. The male kakapo is known for its loud booming mating call, which it produces by inflating like a balloon. The only issue? These calls can be heard for miles around, alerting predators to the kakapo's whereabouts. Not exactly the smartest move in the animal kingdom. And when it comes to danger, the kakapo has a rather unusual defense mechanism. Instead of fleeing or fighting, it freezes on the spot, hoping to blend in with its surroundings. While this might work against some predators, it's not always the most effective strategy. Despite these quirks, the kakapo is a fascinating creature, offering us a glimpse into a world where flightless parrots roam the forests and charm us with their oddball antics. These creatures may not be the brightest, but they sure are unique. Coming in at number 6, meet the bird with a reputation for sticking its head in the sand, the ostrich. Now let's clear up this popular myth right away. Contrary to the old wives' tale, ostriches do not bury their heads in the sand when threatened. This misconception likely comes from a distant observer's perspective, as ostriches often bend their necks towards the ground when they sense danger. From afar, it can look as if they've plunged their heads into the sand, but it's merely an optical illusion. The ostrich is the world's largest bird, yet despite their size, they are flightless. Without the ability to take to the skies to escape predators, ostriches instead bank on their speed on land. They can sprint up to 43 miles per hour, making them the fastest birds on land. However, their survival instincts leave much to be desired. When an ostrich can't outrun a threat, their next line of defense is to lie flat on the ground and play dead. Not the most cunning of strategies, wouldn't you say? Their diet is another point of interest. Ostriches are omnivores, but have been known to eat things that don't quite fit into the food category. This includes pebbles, sand, and even inanimate objects like bottle caps. These large birds may not be the sharpest tools in the shed, but they're certainly interesting. At number 5, we have the pink and peculiar flamingo. This splash of pink on the horizon is known for its awkward stance. A flamingo's one-legged perch is nothing short of a spectacle. This peculiar behavior is a thermal regulation strategy to minimize heat loss. While it might seem as though they're simply showing off their yoga skills, they're actually just trying to keep warm. Next, let's talk about their unusual feeding habits. Flamingos are filter feeders and prefer to eat upside down. Yes, you heard that right, upside down. They stir up mud with their feet, then dunk their heads underwater to scoop up a beakful of muck. Their beak works like a sieve, filtering out tiny brine shrimp and algae from the water. A diet rich in carotenoid proteins gives them their unique pink hue. Finally, while flamingos are indeed capable of flying, their flight skills are, well, less than impressive. Evoking an image of grace and elegance on one leg, when it comes to air travel, these birds are all over the place. With a running start, they fumble into the air, wings flapping wildly. Their long, thin wings are not particularly aerodynamic, making their flight somewhat clumsy and uncoordinated. Despite their lack of intelligence, these creatures are a fascinating spectacle in the animal kingdom. Their vibrant color, peculiar habits, and unique stance make them an intriguing subject of study. These birds may not be bright, but they sure do stand out. Making it to number 4 on our list is the cute but clueless koala. Now, don't let their adorable fuzzy faces fool you. These marsupials from down under are not the sharpest tools in the shed. One of the most fascinating yet puzzling aspects about koalas is their diet. They feed almost exclusively on eucalyptus leaves. Eucalyptus, as some of you might know, is toxic and low in nutrition. Despite the vast array of other more nutritious vegetation available, koalas stubbornly stick to this diet. In fact, they consume about 1 kilogram of these toxic leaves each day. Their bodies have adapted to detoxify the poison, but it doesn't provide them with much energy, leading to their slow, lethargic lifestyle. Speaking of lifestyle, koalas' survival skills, or lack thereof, are also worth mentioning. When faced with danger, their primary defense mechanism is to stay still and blend with the tree they're on. Not the most proactive strategy, right? Their slow speed is another testament to their lack of survival instincts. Koalas move at a snail's pace, both on the ground and in the trees. Their top speed is about as fast as a relaxed human walk. Not exactly the ideal pace when you're an animal in the wild. But despite their lack of survival skills and peculiar dietary habits, there's something undeniably charming about these slow-moving, eucalyptus-munching marsupials. Koalas may not be Einsteins, but they sure are endearing. Hopping into our top 3 is the cane toad. This amphibian native to Central and South America is infamous for its invasive nature. The cane toad's rapid reproduction and voracious appetite have led it to overrun ecosystems in places like Australia, where it was introduced to control pests. But the cane toad's voraciousness isn't its only remarkable attribute. It also boasts a toxic skin that can be fatal to predators, making it an undesirable meal. This toxin is so potent that it can cause serious harm and even death to animals that dare to take a bite. So you could say that the cane toad doesn't need to be smart to survive. It just needs to be poisonous. Now let's talk about the cane toad's survival instincts, or rather, their lack thereof. Despite their toxic skin, these toads have an uncanny knack for getting themselves into sticky situations. They have been known to try to mate with inanimate objects, and their lack of fear often leads them into the path of cars and other dangers. In short, the cane toad is a master of survival, but not because of its intelligence. It's a creature that thrives on the power of its poison and the sheer force of its numbers. These toads may not be smart, but they sure are resilient. Coming in at number 2, we have the extinct and infamous Dodo. This bird, once native to the island of Mauritius, has become legendary not for its beauty or grace, but for its astonishing lack of survival instinct. The dodo's extinction in the late 17th century is a tale of naivety meeting unfortunate circumstances. You see, the dodo had no natural predators on Mauritius. This made it fearless, especially around humans. When sailors first arrived on the island, the dodo did not run or hide. Instead, it waddled up to these new creatures with an open curiosity that would ultimately lead to its downfall. Yes, you heard it right. The dodo was so trusting that it practically waltzed itself into the cooking pot. And as if that wasn't enough, the dodo was a flightless bird. Despite having wings, it couldn't use them to escape danger or to find food in hard-to-reach places. Its inability to fly made it an easy target for hungry sailors and the invasive species they brought with them. The dodo's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of being too trusting and unadapted to change. It reminds us that survival often depends on the ability to fear, to flee, and to adapt to new threats. The dodo may be gone, but its stupidity lives on in our memories. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. The number 1 dumbest animal is the domestic turkey. This creature is a study in contradictions. For all its flamboyant plumage and its place at the center of the Thanksgiving table, the turkey lacks something crucial: survival instincts. Now don't get me wrong, turkeys aren't completely devoid of intelligence. In fact, they have an uncanny ability to remember precise details of their terrain. But when it comes to self-preservation, these birds are notoriously lacking. They have been known to stare up into the sky during a rainstorm until they drown. Yes, you heard that right. Turkeys can, and do, drown in the rain. And then there's the matter of flight. Despite being descendants of wild turkeys, which are agile flyers, domestic turkeys have lost most of their flight skills. Their heavy bodies and small wings make them rather poor at soaring the skies. They can flutter about, but you won't see them soaring high above the treetops. And let's not forget their indiscriminate eating habits. These birds are omnivores, which means they will eat just about anything that fits in their beak. From insects and grains to small reptiles and amphibians, nothing is off the menu. These birds may not be the brightest, but they sure do make a tasty meal. And there you have it, the top 10 dumbest animals in the world. From the clumsy panda, the head-scratching turkey, the slow-paced sloth, the flightless kakapo, the head-bearing ostrich, the one-legged sleeping flamingo, the picky-eater koala, the invasive cane toad, the extinct dodo to our number 1, the domestic turkey. Each of these creatures with their unique quirks and behaviors remind us that nature is full of surprises. Thank you for joining us on this journey of animal stupidity. Until next time.